Dr. Daniel Wiseman, and I hope you've been watching this program for the last 2 weeks because we've been talking about the Los Angeles city budget. Every September, the Los Angeles city departments, over 40 of them, some people say 44, 45 departments, send their wish list to the mayor and tell him what they want to do with their budget. At the same time, the neighborhood councils of the city of Los Angeles are invited by the mayor to come listen to him when he tells the neighborhood council people where his priorities are, and he gives them a survey to fill out so that they can vote for his priorities. One of the problems with that survey is we don't really get a chance to vote for our priorities. We get to vote for the mayor's priorities. But be that as it may, this year we're going to be able to tell the mayor a lot more and meet with him within the next week or two to start the process. Now, the LA city budget is a very big business. It is $6.8 billion. And if the fellow in the booth there can show that first picture of all those books. The budget is put together by the city administrative officer, the CAO they're called, and these books that you're about to see are the books that they produce. These books have information in them on all aspects of the budget. Where does the money come from? What are our prospects for money coming in next year? Where does the money go? How much goes to each of the departments? How much do they want? How much do they need? The neighborhood councils are going to be able to tell the mayor what their big priorities are. And I haven't seen the books yet, but I'm sure the guys in the back room are trying to find where I put the books. At any rate, if we can see those books, I'll show you something about them and keep talking in the meantime. The Charter of the City of Los Angeles in 1999, 7-8 years ago, created neighborhood councils, and it gave the neighborhood councils 3 things that they had to do. Number 1, and I'm going to read it, so if my eyes go down, you can watch my fingers. They may be delegated to hold hearings as allowed by city council before the city council has their meetings on any given issue, and they are to advise the government, this is number 1, on their area. They are to report to the mayor each year on an annual list of priorities, and that's what I just mentioned. Our priority list that goes to the mayor and the city council. And in order to do that, number 3, we are to monitor the services that are in our community. Now, the neighborhood councils are becoming more and more sophisticated at doing this. And larger numbers of people are getting involved in this. We have these programs because we want anyone who's listening to us right now who's not involved to know what's going on by some of your neighbors already, and we want you to join us. You'll see some numbers and an email at the end of the meeting, end of the program here, so you can call us and get more specific information. Now, let's talk. Because our $6.8 billion has some real serious problems. And if we can shift to the pictures that I've just put here we go. All right. Now this is a list of 20 places where we get our money. We get our money mostly from, our biggest amount is from property tax, but that's only about 25 to 30% of all of the money we get. We get it from what are called utility users taxes, and we'll tell you some more about that. Licenses, permits, fees, and fines, our driver's license, dog license. When you go to build a house, you need a permit to build it. That charges things. When you sell a house or sell a property, there are transfer taxes. So the city collects a lot. Business taxes account for $477 million of income. I'm going to talk about the power revenue tax a good deal because It's one that people wonder about whether we should be receiving it or not, whether it's legal or not. The documentary transfer tax is the tax when we sell a property. We pay the city for keeping the record of that and a little extra so the city has something to use wherever it wants to. We have parking fines of $126 million. There's some parking structures, and some of these belong to the police department, where they impound cars, and those impounds produce some money for the city. There are franchises on gasoline lines, on television stations, including the station you're watching. The pipelines that the water and power people use to bring water to us, and also on the tow trucks. When and if, I hope it never happens to you, somebody tows your car because you're parked in the wrong place, or they impound your car, there's a fee that you will be paying as part of the money you pay to get your car out. All right, so all of these 20 items add up to $4.4 billion. B is in billion. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to go into some of the problems, and the problems are in this list over here. The utility users tax is divided into three parts. One part for the gasoline in your home and the industry uses, natural gas to heat your air conditioners, your heating units, and your stoves in your kitchens. You pay a tax on that. The second tax is on Department of Water and Power, and you'll find a 10% tax put on every one of your power bills if you own a home, or if you're a renter, the landlord who owns that property that you rent in pays 10% of the amount that he pays for utilities to the city of Los Angeles as a tax. There's a third tax there that we all pay, and now that everybody has cell phones, we now pay a tax on our cell phones, which was originally what's called an excise tax. Well, a tax is a tax, and to call it an excise tax doesn't help, except the federal government was no longer going to have excise taxes on any of its citizens. Well, we in California then we're not allowed to have excise taxes on your cell phone. Now that amounts to $270 million of the $627 million that are here. So this is about to drop down to $357 million. It may be argued in court that that shouldn't be done, but it looks like it's going to be done. Now, do you want, as citizens, to vote for a new tax on your cell phone so that the city will continue to have this money or not? The city may have to come to you and ask you. Licenses, permits, and fees are something I want to concentrate on. Cat, we should be paying to have a rabbit or even a horse to the animal services department, a license fee for that. We pay to have a license on our automobile, and some of the money we pay goes to the state and just a little of it trickles back here to the city. We pay when there are permits to be obtained for building, for inspections of a building that's going up. At least the people who are constructing that building, whether it's your home, their building, or a big skyscraper. Now, many of these taxes, permits, and licenses, and fines and fees do not even pay for the cost of collecting them. Well, in spite of the